Tigers continued to be propelled towards the finals by their star halves pairing of Benji Marshall and Scott Prince as they ran riot against the Sharks. Marshall was at his slashing best as he turned the Sharks' defence inside out. Wests running in 34 points in the final 23 minutes of the game.
That is as good as you will see on a Sunday afternoon anywhere in the National Rugby League. Benji Marshall has sent the Tigers fans into a frenzy. Even the Sharks fans are applauding that. How good was that?
John Sutton had just signed a new 4-year deal with the Rabbitohs and showed why the club rated him so highly as he led Souths to a 13-point win over the Bulldogs at Aussie Stadium. The Dragons have a star attraction of their own who knows plenty about stepping through the opposition. Mark Gasnier turned the Roosters' defence into confetti. A record Wing Stadium crowd hailing a 38-0 second half by the Red and Whites.
Gasnier magic again. A hat-trick in Wollongong.
Three-time Dally M medal winner Andrew Johns extended his contract with the Knights for a further 2 seasons, just hours before he blew a hole in the Melbourne Storm's title aspirations. And a hat-trick of tries by North Queensland winger Ty Williams helped the Cowboys pull off the most dramatic win of the NRL season as they came from behind twice to stun the Manly faithful at Brookvale Oval.
Ty Williams scores a try that wins the game for the North Queensland Cowboys.
5 players in the top 10 polled votes in round 21. Braithen Astor against the Rabbitohs, 2 votes. Shane Webke against the Raiders, 2 votes. Andrew Johns against the Storm, 3 votes. Scott Prince against the Sharks, 2 votes. And Jonathan Thurston against the Dragons, 3 votes.
We have a new leader in the Dally M count with 5 rounds remaining. The Cowboys are riding high in the saddle. Jonathan Thurston now leads by 3 votes to both Ben Kennedy there and Scott Prince. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. So much has changed in such a short space of time. Jonathan Thurston, 25. Ben Kennedy and Scott Prince now both on 22 each. We saw the sun shining there momentarily in Warrington as Andrew Johns was listening in. He's moved to 19 votes, keeping pace with those in the lead, but he is 6 behind, of course, Thurston, who leads with 5 rounds to go. Shane Webke continuing on a magnificent season, of course. It's a shame he had an injury towards the end of the season, but we'll see how he polls in the rounds to come. Stacey Jones, 16 votes. Braithen Astor doing well also with Anthony Watmo, Matt Orford and Brett Hodgson as well. It is just as exciting as it was last year when Danny Badiris was the Dally M medalist. Now, this is what happened in round 22.
Round 22. The Sea Eagles had been winless through July, but a new month brought a change of luck as they snapped a 5-game losing streak with a 1-point win over the Broncos. Besieged captain Michael Monaghan provided the difference. His long-range field goal bringing Manly's season back to life.
Monaghan off the bench, rides it home, Michael Monaghan.
Newcastle's all-star duo of Andrew Johns and Danny Badiris were the central figures in yet another late-season upset. The Bulldogs this time unable to match it with the resurgent Knights, who made it 5 wins from their past 7 games. The Tigers overcame a first-half hiccup against the Raiders in Canberra to make it 6 straight wins, with fullback Brett Hodgson providing the big plays when the game was in the balance.
They make it 6 in a row and find themselves in the top 4.
And star Parramatta recruit Tamana Tahu broke out of a subdued season by his standards to light up the Eels' attack in a high-scoring second half against the Warriors. Parramatta breaking a 2-game losing streak in the process.
Two of the top 10 players polled votes in round 22. Brett Hodgson against the Raiders, 3 votes. And Andrew Johns against the Bulldogs, 2 votes.
Votes once again for Andrew Johns, who narrows the gap between himself and Jonathan Thurston now to just 4 points. No votes there for Ben Kennedy and Scott Prince. They remain 3 points behind our leader, Jonathan Thurston. Kennedy and Prince on 22. Andrew Johns, it has been a remarkable run, of course, during this winning streak for the Newcastle Knights in the second half of the season. And as expected, the 3-time Dally M medalist has picked up a brace of votes as a result. Shane Webke still there on 17. Brett Hodgson of the Tigers, the fullback, also there, along with his teammate Scott Prince, in the top 10 vote getters at the moment. It might be timely to cross into Laurie Daly, who has Jonathan Thurston with him. Our leader, Laurie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Warren. I'm here with a very nervous Jonathan Thurston. And Jonathan, after 22 rounds, did you be expecting to lead the way?
No, it was a bit of a surprise, so hopefully I can hang in there. But there's good players behind me and a few rounds left, so see how it goes. And
in the last couple of rounds, the Cowboys won their last 3 straight, so you must be giving yourself some type of chance.
Yeah, you just don't know with this type of thing, so just got to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, all the best, mate, and I'm sure that you'll poll strongly towards the end. Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
He's a cat on a hot tin roof at the moment, isn't he, Jonathan Thurston? Now, let's build the tension. This is how round 23 played itself out.
Round 23. A Suncorp Stadium crowd of almost 50,000 was hoping to see the Broncos shake off a form slump, but instead they witnessed a 5th straight win by the Dragons. Trent Barrett putting the visitors in front with a slashing solo try in the first half. Brett Hodgson's NRL career began at Campbelltown, playing in the Magpies jumper. And as the joint venture Tigers made it 7 consecutive wins, the 27-year-old fullback was one of 5 try scorers to carry the famous black and white colours across the stripe. The Eels have had a tough time of it against the Bulldogs in recent seasons, but playing at home to a full house, they racked up a half-century for the 4th time this season, the dynamic Tamana Tahu scoring a hat-trick. Andrew Johns wasn't at full throttle against the Sea Eagles, but this effort from close range gave the Knights the lead when it mattered. The win making it 6 victories from their last 8 games. And Melbourne halfback Matt Orford performed a similar feat when his try from the scrum base ensured the Storm broke a 2-game losing streak to solidify their position in the top 8.
3 players in the top 10 polled votes in round 23. Brett Hodgson against the Cowboys, 3 votes. Andrew Johns against the Sea Eagles, 2 votes. And Jonathan Thurston against the Tigers, 1 vote.
Our leader edges away. He now leads by 3 to Andrew Johns, who has vaulted himself into 2nd place on our Dally M leaderboard. Let's take a look as it stands now with 3 rounds remaining. Now, Brett Hodgson also there, picking up 3 votes, has moved, of course, within 7. It's out of range now, the Dally M medal for the Tigers fullback, unfortunately. Andrew Johns on 23, Ben Kennedy and Scott Prince there on 22 still, unable to make any headway at the moment. It has been Jonathan Thurston and Andrew Johns who have picked up the votes in recent times. Shane Webke, Stacey Jones, Braithen Astor, Craig Gower has joined Anthony Watmoe, who of course was crippled by a knee injury. Very bad luck for the Sea Eagle back rower through the middle part of the season. He could have really challenged, you would think, the Dally M medal in 2005 had he been able to stay on the field. But Jonathan Thurston leads by 3 to Andrew Johns and Ben Kennedy. Now, we saw Andrew Johns watching on and listening on over there in Warrington. Let's go back over to England now as the Dally M's once again goes global. Andrew, how are you feeling at the moment, of course? So close and with 3 rounds still to remain. Do you think you're any chance?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think who we played in the last 3 rounds, but I think Jonathan Thurston or BK deserve the winners, so I don't know. Fingers crossed.
It was so remarkable, Newcastle's second half of the season. At any stage did you start thinking about maybe your 4th Dally M and trying to work out how many votes you'd picked up in those last 10 rounds?
No, I didn't, mate, to be honest. I was sort of worried about trying to keep that winning streak going, but I think the last 2 rounds someone got me in, said, and then I thought back a little bit, but yeah, I honestly didn't think I'd be that far up, so touch surprised.
Well, don't go anywhere. Still a few rounds to go, and we'll see if you can peg back that 3-point lead of Jonathan Thurston. Now, with just 3 rounds to go, let's go to the action from round 24.
Round 24. A heavyweight clash ensured another sellout crowd at Oakey Jubilee Oval. And the Dragons delighted the Red and White Army by running to an 18-0 lead over the Eels in the first half. Parramatta fought their way back, but it wasn't enough to topple the competition favourites who made it 6 straight wins. Brett Kamali marked his 200th NRL game with the 3rd hat-trick of his career, leading the Sharks to a place in the finals and the biggest win in the club's history, which also handed the Sea Eagles their biggest ever loss as they conceded a mammoth 12 tries. The Newcastle Knights may have been bound for the wooden spoon, but it didn't stop them from notching a 5th consecutive victory, with Andrew Johns sparking a second-half surge to beat the Warriors in Auckland. The Rabbitohs broke an 11-game losing streak to the Roosters when a Ben Walker field goal separated the teams in what was a fiery local derby at Aussie Stadium. And the Tigers continued to prove themselves as a premiership threat by handing the Bulldogs their second 50-point thrashing in as many weeks. Scott Prince playing yet another commanding role.
Four of the top 10 polled votes in round 24. Craig Gower against the Broncos, 1 vote. Brett Hodgson against the Bulldogs, 3 votes. Scott Prince against the Bulldogs, 1 vote. And Andrew Johns against the Warriors, 2 votes.
Andrew Johns moves within 1 of Jonathan Thurston with 2 rounds remaining. Let's go back to the leaderboard now. It has set up a thrilling finish, hasn't it? Jonathan Thurston, 1 point clear of Andrew Johns. It looks as though they might duel it out, although Scott Prince, of course, may well have something to say about that. Brett Hodgson, the Tigers, as expected, polling very well. They're on 22 points, along with Ben Kennedy, who is now 4 behind Jonathan Thurston and needs to pick up, you would think, at least 1 3-point game in those last couple remaining to challenge perhaps Jonathan Thurston. Shane Webke there on 17, Craig Gower 16, along with Nathan Hindmarsh. Of course, our Provan Summons medal winner, Stacey Jones, is there, along with Braithen Astor as well. That is the leaderboard as it stands with 2 to go now. Of course, it is possible that we could have a winner in round 25, and joining us this evening to present the Dally M medal, would you please welcome the Prime Minister of Australia, Mr. John Howard. Mr. Howard, very well. So nice to have you with us once again on Dally M night. You must be excited, the Dragons. This could be their year.
Yes, but I hope it is. But, you know, we all get a little bit superstitious when you get close and you don't quite know what to say. I mean, you hope they're going to win. You think they deserve to win, but you don't want to overdo it in case you somehow or other jinx them. I've shared a lot of ups and downs with the team. If you've followed the Dragons for a long time, you had plenty of great experiences in the 50s and 60s. But then, of course, a few of us remember the 1999 grand final, 14-0 at half-time, and gee, it was a great win by Melbourne, but we still remember it. But all I can say is that they're a very strong team. They've got a great captain. They've got a very well balanced. They've got a very strong set of forwards. And I saw the game at Cogra a couple of weeks ago against Parramatta. It was a terrific match. But I have to say that I watched the Newcastle game on television at the weekend, and that was a fantastic second half performance by Newcastle. I mean, I'm glad. I was very relieved at the final result, but I think I have to say, as a Dragons supporter, that that was a tremendous performance by the Newcastle team, and an enormous credit to particularly to Andrew and to Danny. They're a tremendous couple. But can I just finally say, it's been a fantastic season of rugby league. It's been so exciting, so unpredictable. The crowds have been great. The representative football has been terrific. I saw the first Origin in Brisbane, and I don't think I've seen as good a game of rugby league for quite a long time as that first match. And I just think it's been a great year for the game. And congratulations to the players and the fans and everybody associated with it. And you know, hope it finishes on a high note. Go the Dragons.
Now, of course, we have a couple of rounds to go. We'll see who wins this Dally M medal for 2005, perhaps in this very round. Let's take a look now at the on-field drama. This is what happened in round 25.
Round 25. The Roosters knew the equation long before they headed to Suncorp Stadium, and they also knew they could count on the count in a time of need. Anthony Minicello stood out like a beacon against the Broncos as the Roosters moved within one win of pulling off a surprise appearance in the finals. The Panthers were also doing their sums after eliminating the Bulldogs from the top 8 race. Skipper Craig Gower scored 2 tries and Paul Frenze 3 as Penrith set their sights on upsetting the Tigers on the last day of the regular season. Manly could have put the top 8 issue to bed for good when they met the Warriors at Brookvale. But it was the visitors who were able to send Stacey Jones out a winner, ensuring another week of heartburn for the Sea Eagles fans.
Jones is done. Stacey Jones will get the Warriors home shortly.
Andrew Johns continued to steer the Knights away from the wooden spoon as Newcastle put the cleaners through the Sharks, who went from 62-point winners to 30-point losers in the space of a week. And the Storm sent a warning shot across the bow of the title contenders as they broke the Tigers' 8-game winning streak. Halfback Matt Orford starring as Melbourne celebrated their final home game for retiring captain Robbie Kearns.
Here we go. 7 players in the top 10 polled votes in round 25. Braithen Astor against the Panthers, 1 vote. Stacey Jones against the Sea Eagles, 2 votes. Craig Gower against the Bulldogs, 3 votes. Ben Kennedy against the Warriors, 3 votes. Scott Prince against the Storm, 1 vote. Andrew Johns against the Sharks, 3 votes. And Jonathan Thurston against the Rabbitohs, 3 votes.
What a response by Jonathan Thurston in round 25, 3 votes against the Rabbitohs. He has once again vaulted in front of Andrew Johns, who after picking up 3 votes himself had skipped 2 points clear. Ben Kennedy, unfortunately, now out of the running, the Manly Sea Eagle great. He is there on 25 points. Scott Prince also now can't win the Dally M medal for 2005. He's on 24. Brett Hodgson, 22. Craig Gower, Stacey Jones, Matt Orford, Shane Webke and Braithen Astor, all still there. But ladies and gentlemen, here at the Sydney Town Hall and watching live, of course, on Fox Sports, we have a race in 2. And for the first time at the Dally M Awards, it's a race that crosses the globe, of course, with Andrew Johns watching and listening on from Warrington in England. Now, we don't need to see any highlights from round 26. Let's go straight to the votes. David, what did the judges have to say for round 26?
Round 26, Andrew Johns against the Dragons, 3 votes. And with 3 votes against the Storm and the winner of the 2005 Jonathan Thurston.
Jonathan Thurston, the first North Queensland Cowboy to win the Dally M medal. Jonathan.